Martin Erkamps was born in a neighborhood where danger was normal. Every corner had a dealer. Every street had a story. From a young age, he learned one lesson: strength is survival. While other children played with toys, Martin watched older boys carry knives, sell drugs, and earn respect through fear. He admired them. He wanted to be like them. The streets became his classroom. Martin came from a home where there was never enough. His mother worked long hours. His father wasn't around. School didn't interest him. Hunger grew in his stomach, but jealousy grew in his heart. He saw boys his age wearing expensive clothes, driving scooters, and flashing money. One day he decided, if they can get it, I can too. That single decision dragged him into a world that would later destroy him. He was only 14 when an older gang member placed a small pistol in his hand. It felt heavy, powerful, and dangerous. The man told him, "You carry this now. You're part of us." From that moment, Martin believed he'd found family. But he didn't realize he had just chained his life to violence. Before he became feared, he was useful. He delivered packages. He carried messages. He watched corners. He did everything quickly, and without complaining, criminal bosses noticed him. In the underworld, loyalty and silence are gold. And Martin had both. He received an envelope full of cash. More money than his mother made in a month. He hid it under his pillow and smiled all night. From that day on, he refused to live like a normal boy again. By age 17, Martin was trusted to move cocaine between safe houses. He knew the routes. He knew the risks. He learned how to disappear in crowds. He started to feel invincible. Money flowed faster than he could spend it. A feared gangster named Big Ron took Martin under his wing. Ron taught him how to fight, how to intimidate, and how to control fear. Most importantly, he taught him the rule of the streets. Never hesitate. Martin was ordered to send a message to a rival dealer. It wasn't a killing, but it was brutal. Martin beat the man badly. His hands shook afterward, but the gang cheered him. That praise erased his guilt. As the Dutch-Moroccan underworld expanded, Martin became a valuable non-Moroccan ally. He wasn't a top boss, but he was respected for his consistency. When the Mocro Wars erupted, both sides wanted him. Martin didn't talk. Ever. Police questioned him many times. He stared at the table. He said nothing. Criminals began to rely on him because silence is the rarest skill in crime. He became part of an elite team assigned to protect drug shipments and enforce debts. These men weren't small dealers. They were powerful, feared, and deeply connected. Martin's life changed. He supervised containers, bribed port workers, and tracked police patrols. Rotterdam became his playground. a €1 billion operation in one city. He didn't do it, but he watched as a rival was shot point blank. The scene scarred him. But in the underworld, fear doesn't give you permission to leave. One of his close friends talked to police. Martin watched the gang punish him. From that day, he learned anyone can die, even friends. Whenever someone owed the gang money, Martin showed up. His face alone sent people trembling. He didn't need to shout. Calmness was his weapon. People said Martin had no emotions. He didn't smile. He didn't argue. He didn't explain himself. His calmness made him terrifying. A drug warehouse he supervised was raided. Millions were seized. Police became interested in him. His name appeared in investigations. Martin was slippery. He changed phones constantly. He never slept in one place. Police were always a step behind. Martin helped abduct enemies who owed money or betrayed the gang. These kidnappings were brutal. Some victims were never seen again. He was too valuable. He made operations smooth, clean, and quiet. Every successful job increased his importance. When gangs started killing each other, Martin was assigned security jobs, escort duties, and retaliation missions. Martin wasn't the shooter. But he coordinated a major assassination. That killing escalated the war. Police began hunting every member of the operation, including him. He jumped between safe houses. His paranoia grew. Every knock sounded like police. Every stranger looked like an enemy. He had a girlfriend who begged him to quit crime. He ignored her. One day she left. He didn't chase her. The streets had become his only family. After years of pursuit, police finally caught him. The evidence was strong: drug trafficking, kidnapping involvement, money laundering, and weapons possession. Martin knew this time he wasn't getting out. Investigators discovered accounts, cars, properties, and cash hidden across Europe. The gang used him to manage millions. When he walked into court, even other criminals looked away. Martin had a reputation no one wanted to challenge. People who could testify against him refused. They feared for their families. Prosecutors revealed details of shipments, kidnappings, secret meetings, encrypted phones, and violent operations. The judge said Martin was a key figure who enabled extreme violence and drug trafficking. He received many years behind bars. Because of gang connections, he was placed in special detention, limited visitors, heavy surveillance, no contact with old associates. For the first time, silence hurt him. He replayed every crime, every face, every scream. Nothing could distract him. Outside prison, powerful figures feared he might talk. Martin became a target. Rumors spread that threats were sent to him, warning him to keep quiet. Even in a cell, danger followed him. Martin had lived by one rule his whole life: never betray the code. Even with his life at risk, he stayed silent. Investigators tried to persuade him to testify against major figures in the Mocro Mafia. Martin rejected every offer. Because he didn't cooperate, he stayed in the harshest prison conditions. But he accepted it. He believed loyalty gave him dignity. Rivals from past operations still hated him. Some were also in prison. Martin had to watch his back every second nobody messed with him. Even without freedom, his name carried weight. He kept a low profile, trained his body, and read books. One night, alone in his cell, he whispered, "Was it worth it?" He had money, power, and fear. But he lost love, freedom, peace, and a future. Years inside hardened him, but also softened him. He began to understand pain, not just the pain he caused others, but the pain he caused himself. She aged while he was gone. She cried during visits. Martin felt guilt heavier than any prison door. Younger boys were repeating his mistakes. Fast money, fast death. Martin began warning some of them silently, through his eyes. His old crew moved on without him. Times changed. The underworld evolved. He was no longer part of their world, and he didn't try to return. Even though he stayed quiet, violence still reached him. He survived confrontations, threats, and gang politics. Journalists reported on his role. His story became part of the bigger narrative of the Mocro Mafia wars. A counselor told him, "You can't change your past, but you can change who you become." Those words touched something in him. For the first time, he admitted to himself that he should have taken a different path. A path away from guns and drugs. He knew he'd leave prison someday, but what waited outside? Friends, enemies, or an empty life? Inside, he is safe. Outside, his past might come back for him. Old rivals, old debts, old sins. He wants young people to know that street life only looks glamorous from far away. Up close, it is death. He may not have pulled every trigger, but he helped the machine that killed many. That weight never leaves him. He writes apologies he never mails. To families, to victims, to people he hurt. Shame keeps the letters in a drawer. The men he once protected no longer care about him. He gave them loyalty. They gave him silence. To them, he is a legend, a ghost from the violent days of the Mocro Wars. But he feels no pride in that. He realizes the streets raised him, but they also ruined him. If he could speak to his 14-year-old self, he would say, "Walk away now. Power gained through fear dies quickly. Only peace lasts." He no longer seeks respect or reputation. He just wants quiet and forgiveness, even if nobody gives it to him. Every crime has a price. Sometimes the price is paid in years, sometimes in blood, sometimes in loneliness. Martin's life teaches one truth. The streets do not love anyone, they use you, break you, and leave you behind.